Rigged. They don't know that, but tell them we know it. You know what it is. Let's go. It's rigged. It's rigged. System built to class. Pawns in the game got me caught up in the trash. 1600, yeah, scheming all about the racks. Power in the game got me standing in the trash. It's rigged. It's rigged. Power in the game. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. No, you can't escape the fate. 1600, yeah, got me running from the stage. Breaking from the cage, now they bout to feel my rage. Stepping through the circus where the clowns wear the crowns. Marble halls, power calls, and the truth get drowned. 1600 epicenter where they got them scams. Shake your hand, give you a smile, it's another scam. Spitting venom, pins a weapon, dissecting deception. Every election's a selection rigged by perfection. They pull the levers, move the gears, and make the masses blind. Feed your tears and your fears, keep the trap in line. Secret Service get you whacked, that's a casualty. Oval Office double cross, that's the strategy. Paint the picture, hang it up, yeah, for the sheep. I'm awake, stop the hate, let the real one speak. It's rigged, it's rigged. System built to class. Pawns in the game got me caught up in the trap. 1600, yeah, scheming all about the rats. Power in the game got me standing in the trap. It's rigged, it's rigged. Power in the game. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. No, you can't escape the fate. 1600, yeah, got me running from the stage. Breaking from the cage, now they about to feel my rage.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Back up in the lab, cracking bars like a chemist. Every word I say's a missile, aiming at my menace. Rewrite the history, spin it like it was a fable. Cut the cable, cut the label, flip the whole damn table. I'ma keep on rapping, scream it all through the static. While they traffic in the panic,
I'ma make it tragic.
1600 where the vultures circle real low. Selling hoes with the ropes tied around your throat. Surgical with the word scalpel to the lies. Peeling back the curtain, see the devil in disguise. Yeah, see the devil rigged. Yeah, see the devil in disguise. It's rigged, it's rigged, it's rigged. Yeah, system built to class. Pawns in the game got me caught up in the trap.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this show started. We don't got all morning. Let's go. Let's go. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go.
I'm like the Terminator screaming. I'll be back. It's deja vu when I'm not here flying first class.
It's like every week I gotta take it up the jet. I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass.
Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas. I play the game so raw, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room
Screaming out, we made it. This is how it's supposed to happen when you get your
morning.
Cena.
Really turned into a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my Zodiac.
I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet.
Benjamin Franklin is my best.
Hey.
And if they is my ex, that mean
I love
they
you, dude.
They don't give me props if they text me. I said with my chest cause I'm
Good morning, Coco.
Got a lot
Jim.
of confidence and I'm conceited.
Hey.
Call me the master with a new
Here it
whip.
goes.
I'ma take off in a spaceship.
Zeus hater.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple
Please,
of
ma'am.
days.
Drug
That
test.
shit was radical.
Keep it clean. Very radical.
It was horrible.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
Oh.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
You haven't seen the gas prices lately, have you?
It's like deja vu.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we're back in the Thunderdome. I'm your host. I'm your pilot, and you know exactly why we're gathered. We got to do the work it takes to save this great country of ours from the evil clutches of Donald J. Trump and his legion of MAGA demons, who we all know are hell-bent on trying to ruin the United States of America. All right, and we do it one show at a time by just debunking these folks and their lies and their misinformation in record time. And it's obviously been very successful because Donald Trump poll numbers have been coming down. Yeah. And I don't want to hear MAGA say, oh, we don't care about the polls. But then when, CNN puts out some other information, they say the polls say, then all of a sudden MAGA says, oh, look at the polls. No, the majority of people in America, the majority of people in the world totally despise Donald Trump and everything he represents. And we despise his supporters even more. Actually, I think we despise the supporters a lot more because, these people, they just have no good way to explain or justify why they're supporting this demon in the White House, so to speak, right? And so I'll get into that in just a second, right? W's in the chat for Zeus. This might be your first time tuning in. I just like to get this out of the way and tell people I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I am honest. The second H is because I am humble. And the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, is because I am and will always remain, you guessed it, the most handsome. And actually, in all of those H's, I'm the most. And I'm thinking about doing another H because honorable is right up there with it, all right? I tell people the truth. And you know what? What I've learned over the years is sometimes you tell people the truth, they'll get mad at you, but they'll come back and they'll respect you for doing that. And that's what I do on this show. It stings, and it goes both ways. It goes both ways, but I really think that's what's needed more so than for people to just be blindly following somebody who they know is an immoral creature. I don't even call people who worship Donald Trump. I don't even call Trump him. These people aren't human beings. Human beings have souls. They're compassionate, right? And they have the fruits of the spirit, so to speak, in them. MAGA has nothing. These people are a bunch of hypocrites, a bunch of liars, right? And so I just got to say this before I move on. Are there any Trump supporters out there this morning? Anybody out there still worshiping Donald Trump? Identify yourselves in the comment section. I don't need you to come up here or anything like that. I just want to see. I just want to see because, I've had some people come over here and they come out of the woodwork, right? They come out of these weird places, name themselves all kinds of just nasty, evil names. Let's see. Okay, they've learned their lesson. W2, because the mods will get you. If you come onto my platform and you start lying, the mods are going to get you. Because what we don't want people to be able to get away with lying. When you were a kid and you got caught lying, you got punished. Nowadays, you get rewarded. We don't do that over here. We have standards, all right? And that's a huge W, Zeus. Thank you. W's to the chat for Rick. So let me just say this to the Trump supporters that are listening right now. If you don't like hearing the truth, leave right now because it's going to get very uncomfortable for you. I promise you it will. It will. But get this, you don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Wouldn't it be a nicer place in America, ladies and gentlemen, if MAGA were to just leave? How many of you think it would be a nice thing and the country would be able to progress forward if we could just get rid of all of these Trump supporters? How many of you believe that? Do you really believe that in your souls? No, seriously. You believe that, Rick? All of you, And I am honestly, ladies and gentlemen, because G-Man and Ange and all the other people that have been doing this kind of work that I've been doing, they've been saying Zeus is the nice one. I'm the nice person. But a lot of people, and I'm starting to see it, a lot of people truly, truly hate Donald Trump and his supporters. And it's at a level now where I can't even try to talk people out of it. I can't even try to be the voice of reason with it because every day people are suffering, and the list goes on and on. We got forever wars, the borders, according to MAGA, the border, you don't even get mass deportations anymore. You were lied to. You don't even get cheaper groceries. You don't get health insurance. And now the one thing, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. They hate when I do this. I've gotten so many complaints on this show. Zeus, please don't talk about it. But I'm always going to bring this up. What am I talking about? Gas prices. MAGA does not like it, ladies and gentlemen, for some strange reason. When I bring up the gas prices, and we're prophesying in a way what's about to happen. Yeah. First they hit you at the pump, but wait until you start going into these grocery stores, MAGA. Wait until you start going into these grocery stores and you won't even have any of those socialist, those Democrat socialist safety net programs out there that help offset the harm that has been caused, because this is a war Donald Trump chose to get into. He didn't have to get into this. But look at this, ladies and gentlemen, another update about the gas prices.
Expensive. Take a look at these numbers. We know that oil prices are up roughly 39%. That's pushing up diesel above $5.
Has anyone got a 39% pay raise out there? Because you know this stuff adds up real fast. Has anyone got a 38% or even a 25%? Hey, Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom, answer the question. Have you gotten a raise since the war started? This is a yes or no question. Look at that. You see how the Trump supporters get quiet? Because they know. Every time you want to see if you did. Look at Tiny Tank Top. He said he did. You're nothing but a liar. You're a liar. You're a liar. Bring your pay stub up here. We'll see.
Look at these numbers. We know that oil prices are up roughly 39%. That's pushing up diesel above $5 a gallon on average.
Wow.
And nitrogen fertilizer, which is huge for these farmers, is up 25%
wow.
to $579 per ton.
Wow.
John Boltz owns this farm. He's also the president of the Arizona Farm Bureau. He says he and his fellow farmers take it seriously that their
Go ahead.
responsibility is to feed American families, and right now that's at risk.
Oh.
Take a listen.
Yeah.
Heavily on diesel fuel, not only to produce the crops that we grow, but also particularly to move them to market. Many of the crops we grow, like the melons behind me, lettuce, broccoli, and cauliflower, but also, we have to stay in business. We have to function as America's farmers to produce and put food on people's tables.
Doesn't he look and sound defeated? Does he sound defeated, ladies and gentlemen? Does he look like he's just, or as Donald Trump likes to say, Donald Trump had some funny things to say, or he said,
You're going to be so proud of your country
remember this?
if I get in. You're going to be so proud of your president, and I don't care about that. But you are going to be so proud of
remember
your
this?
country, because we're going to turn it around.
Does he look like he's winning?
And we're going to start winning again. We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically.
Wow.
We're going to win with the economy.
Wow.
We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet.
Look at him.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more. We're going to win so much.
You hear that, MAGA? You're not even going to be able to eat. This is to me, and remember, I haven't said it in a while. I used to say this. This is when Trump's first term started. I said, a lot of you won't be here come midterms. And then we had the natural disaster in Kerr County. Then we started getting the measles and the rubella and the mumps outbreaks and stuff like that. It's like famine. It's like we're literally living in the Old Testament all over again. Except for you don't even have Moses coming with the rod and laying it down in front of the Pharaoh or anything like that. We haven't seen the locusts or anything like that. But you get what I'm saying. It's like we're a cursed nation. All because Donald Trump is the president of the United States, the most incompetent and dangerous person I've ever seen. And he's going to go down in history. He's definitely going to go down in the history books because he's ran the largest circus we've ever seen. He has somehow convinced a bunch of folks out here, a bunch of people who clearly hate themselves, that sky-high gas prices, government shutdowns, no social safety nets, and famine and health scares all over the world, wars, rumors of wars. He's convinced them this is necessary in order for them to enter into prosperity. These folks, ladies and gentlemen, they're worse of the worst in the scum of the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire because I don't got all morning to do this. These people hate themselves, and if you hate yourself and you hate your country, don't ask me to feel sorry for your behind. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these MAGA demons and their dear leader straight to hell. This is the first round. what I gotta do.
Silence.
Yeah.
You MAGA Damon.
And it's a huge W, Zeus. Oh, Zeus, please don't, Zeus. Please don't, Zeus. We don't want to hear it anymore. No, I'm going to make you look at it, MAGA. I'm going to make you look at these gas prices. It makes me, honestly, it's sad, but in a way, it's necessary.
Now,
look at this.
Good morning, George. And we see those attacks
Multiple
show
sources.
up almost
You got to play it from multiple sources because sometimes they like to accuse you. Oh, fake news. No, this is all over the world.
In the prices people pay here at the pump. Overnight prices rising another 5 cents. The nationwide average now $3.90 a gallon.
That's almost
Since
$4.
this war began, prices have jumped 96 cents. And
look at that. Good Lord, that's a lot of money. Remember that? Good Lord, that's a lot of money. Imagine what this is doing. Oh, honey, because these guys that are in relationships with these women out here, they be out here flexing, their hard-earned coins they make on social media, because some of them, they use this as a grift, right? Now they got to cut back on what they was able to do with their boo thing, with their side piece. Well, we was going to do the little hotel, the little, weekend in the hotel thing, go out to the beach and go to a few nightclubs routine. We were about to do that, but you don't mind if we skip out on going to dinner tonight, right? Because that's what they're going to be doing when their gas bill comes. These people are sick, ladies and gentlemen.
Now at their highest levels since 2022. That's when they hit $5 a gallon. Wow. Meantime, diesel prices, that is the lifeblood of the American economy. It fuels shipping, trains, semi-trucks, hauling products, and of course, farmers use this fuel as well. It is now $5.05 a gallon. The past 2 weeks have brought the biggest 2-week price increase in diesel on record, and it all comes down to oil, which is now $95 a barrel in that range. Every $1 move in oil prices translates to about a 2 to 3 cent move higher at the pump.
Wow.
If sustained, this would mean that households are adding about $1,000 or more to their costs over the course of a year. And if you think about this is part of everything. Heating costs, the cost of an Uber, the cost of food, it ripples through the entire economy, Robin.
Many people are thinking about that.
It ripples through the entire economy, MAGA. I'm gonna ask because I see some Trump voters out there. Honestly, did you all vote for these high gas prices? The Tiny Tank Top Tim, you drive a truck. Don't act like you don't drive a truck. Did you really? Because remember, you got up here and you laid it all out for us. You don't need health insurance because you and your significant other, y'all can penny pinch, so to speak, to offset some of this stuff. But you don't have a choice about putting gas in your truck. Have you decided to ride a bike yet, Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom? Maybe this is a sign from God. You need to stop driving and get on a bike and worry about your health and stop eating mustard and onions, W Zeus. I just thought of that. Yeah, maybe this is a sign that you need to get out of that truck and ride a bike and do something for your cardiovascular system. If you know what that is. Ray, be honest. Because you and I'm still rattled a little bit about the way you got on my show the other day and just uplifted just the nastiest stuff. Honestly, Ray, did you vote for Donald Trump because you wanted to basically have him screw you at the gas station? Is that why you voted for him? It's okay. It's a safe space. Is that why y'all voted for him? Y'all wanted to pay higher gas prices? I'm a little confused. I'm a little confused because you know what? I'm the type of person where you just can't lie to me. You know what I mean? You just can't turn around and say, I did a number on you, but you should be okay with it. I'm not that kind of person. All right. Once you step on my toes, you can't say sorry. That's the W Zeus. Okay. And so he lied to you about obviously the gas prices. And then, what I got to do? I got to go back to the well, the MAGA well. And so this thing that's going on, and DJ, hey DJ, are you here? And the reason that I keep DJ close, I know a lot of you hate these people. I keep them close because I want to see these people suffer. Yeah, I'm the nice person, but listen, I'm very patient. I want to see when the smile, because I say the same thing makes you smile, makes you laugh, it's going to make you cry. I want to see every single one of these Trump supporters reap everything that they sow. And I don't, God, please, don't let them lose any of their senses. Let them stay healthy, all right? Keep these people healthy, because when your wrath and your judgment visits them, I want them to experience it. You know, sight, vision, hearing, taste, smell. I just want them to experience the true judgment that you're going to bring upon these people. And that's why I do shows like this, ladies and gentlemen. I want these people to be fully present. All right? Don't skip out on actual accountability. No, I want you to feel it. So DJ, the reason I'd keep DJ close is because it's not just him. Remember when Charlie Kirk lost his life in a very violent way and the Democrats took a shellacking from the right? We were accused of so many things because of what happened to Charlie Kirk. And it's amazing, you know, the truth comes from the strangest of places. And every day my mind gets blown and I say, where are all of my accusers that were sitting here saying, Zeus, they said, Zeus, it's your show that made this all happen. Where are you? Don't they owe us all an apology? We were actually, if you think about it, we've been crying out in the wild, telling you danger is coming. Don't do this. Don't do this. And you ignored us, right? You all ignored the Democrats. We're radical. We're crazy. You know, and then, you know, Ray, I thought about it, Ray. It's funny that you were saying, well, why are these women not speaking up? And I thought about it and I said, Donald Trump preyed on the most vulnerable people he knew he could get away with. That's how him and Epstein operated. Of course, they're going to go after the people that obviously got serious issues, especially when it comes to their mental health. They're not going to be believable. That's the best way to get away with it, is to go after folks who people's credibility, you know, their credibility is questionable. Who are you going to believe? Me? Who are you going to believe? Me or the crazy one? You know, that's the easiest way to get away with it. But you cannot explain why his name is all over those files. You just can't get away with it. And it's disgusting you even tried to. But let's get back to the war in Iran, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to listen to Joe Kent tell DJ what Charlie Kirk told him, so to speak, all right, about this. It's amazing.
And then, you know, Charlie Kirk is killed publicly in a very horrific way.
Remember this?
And we're not really into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran.
Charlie Kirk was one of Donald Trump's closest advisors. This is coming from somebody, Joe Kent. He's Donald Trump's counterintelligence official that just resigned and quit. Now the FBI is investigating him because he's spilling the beans on what happened to Charlie Kirk. Where is my apology at, MAGA? Where is my apology? Listen to him. Listen to this.
Into that at all. And Charlie Kirk was one of President Trump's closest advisors, and he also advocated heavily against a war with Iran. He was in the Oval Office in the lead up to the 12-day war. I wasn't particularly close with Charlie. He was very gracious to me when I was running for Congress, very, very supportive. So we knew each other. And the last time I saw Charlie Kirk on this earth was in June in the West Wing, in the stairway. And I said hi to him, and he looked me in the eye, and he said very loudly, and it's a small, you've been in the West Wing, it's small, it's a tight space. Mm-hmm. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran.
You hear that, MAGA? You see how these folks, they literally are scattering like roaches. I'm going to play that again.
It's small, it's a tight space. And he said, Joe, stop us from getting into a war with Iran.
And now Charlie Kirk is no longer on the face of the earth. Donald Trump definitely wouldn't have won the election without Charlie Kirk. As much as I don't like Charlie Kirk or Donald Trump, I understand how numbers work. All right? And now we're hearing this, and I keep going, where's Lion Lou? Where's Lion Lou? Where's DJ at? You so-called alpha men got so emotional that your judgment was clouded. You were just striking out at whatever. No, you're just like your daddy, your dear leader. Just strike out at whatever. No real plan, only for the facts, because I'm a patient person, only for the facts to actually start to come out from MAGA themselves. This is MAGA literally telling you all what's happening, not the Democrats.
He was single-minded.
And he walked off, and he went, I believe, into the Oval. So when one of President Trump's closest advisors, who is vocally advocating for us to not go to war with Iran and for us to rethink at least our relationship with the Israelis, and then he's suddenly publicly assassinated, and we're not allowed to ask any questions about that. It's a data point. It's a data point that we need to look into.
What do you hear this? You hear this? You hear this, MAGA? Your dear leader has a lot of explaining to do. You should be grateful, MAGA, that the Democrats are still trying to save the United States of America and that we actually have a real will to make this country live up to the promises that it started out with in the Constitution. You're lucky that we are still here saying we're not going to surrender the United States of America to a nasty, disgusting, vile human being like Donald J. Trump. You're so lucky because, honestly, we're the only reason you still have an opportunity. We're the only reason you still have an opportunity, because if we would have dropped our morals, dropped our standards, and subscribed to the ideology you all have, this country would just be in total chaos.
When you say we're not allowed to ask any questions about that,
we've been told that this individual, Robinson, is a lone gunman, and maybe he is. But the investigation that I was a part of, the National Counterterrorism Center was a part of, we were stopped from continuing to investigate. And the FBI will say that they stopped that because they wanted to have turn everything over to the Utah State.
And you know what? I don't even need to go any further. I don't even need to go any further. As far as I'm concerned, that's why I've been asking MAGA, do you really feel safer now that your daddy is president? Because you know none of this would have happened under Joe Biden. Charlie Kirk did anything happen to Charlie? Listen, did anything happen to Charlie Kirk while Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris were running America? Did anything happen to them? No, be honest. See, this is why I say, Charlie Kirk, also you got to reap what you sow. Because when you work iniquity, hell will be your portion. I would have never hitched my wagon to Donald Trump at all. And then because every single person that has supported Donald Trump, isn't it amazing? They come out at a certain point and go, "Oh, this isn't what I signed up for." At a certain point, it happens because everything's all good up until real life consequences start happening. So we have Joe Kent explaining that we really didn't need to get into this war. As a matter of fact, Charlie Kirk said we didn't need to get into this war. And then while all of this is happening, what is Donald Trump doing? We hear that he's on the verge of possibly sending more of our women and children into battle.
Khalil, who's live with us in Dubai. Joe, there are these new reports that the U.S. is preparing to expand this war effort in a major way. What more are we learning?
Yeah, Marky, President Trump at least considering sending thousands more American troops to the Middle East around the coasts of Iran to help reinforce the service members that are already here. This was first reported out by Reuters, and they're citing U.S. officials saying that as the president and the administration right now are in this critical planning stage for what comes next, for the next phase of this war, that is something that they are considering. It is very much on the table, and for some specific reasons, too. There would be potentially thousands more American troops to help secure the Strait of Hormuz. Also, the president not ruling out ground troops to help secure the highly enriched uranium that is in Iran right now. That uranium, of course, would be what they would use to develop a nuclear weapon there. When asked about the possibility of ground troops, President Trump and several other administration officials publicly have at least said they're not taking anything off the table. And Marky, we should also mention that the 2,500 Marines that are now on their way to the Middle East and to this conflict, they are set to be here next week. So these troops President Trump is considering sending now, that would be on top of the 2,500 Marines whose deployment have already been approved for this conflict.
Boom. Does anyone out there think that we should send more troops to Iran? Anyone out there think that we should send more troops to Iran? I'm asking because playtime is over. Does anyone out there think we should send more troops to Iran? Look at that. All right, W to the chat. Because you know what comes after that. What comes after that? You see how Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom got quiet? You saw how Ray, I see you out there fighting, but you're not fighting us, Ray. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to tell you like my mom used to tell me. Your battle isn't with me. It's with God. W Zeus. And you got to understand, Ray, why Donald Trump is doing this. Because Donald Trump is the kind of person that thinks all you need to build a house is a hammer. He doesn't know there's other tools out there. Everything that is a problem, he thinks it could be solved with a hammer. So that's why he continues to escalate. But there's one problem, Ray, and I'm speaking directly, not just to Ray, because it's not you, Ray. I think you could be a good person. But I know there's a wicked demon inside of you. You and Ladybug, the Russian bears, and y'all don't see it. Y'all don't see the deception, the web of deception that's clouding your ability, and you're just getting tossed in these random streams of just pure chaos. You didn't even know it, but we see you tumbling out there, and we're going, why are you fighting this? Come to the light. But you know what's going to happen when you come to the light, right? You're going to find out. You ever seen that movie, The Wizard of Oz, and they pull behind the curtain, and then they find out what's really behind the curtain? You're going to be like, what? This is what's behind the curtain. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's show Ray what's really behind the curtain and show her why Donald Trump is dragging children and women and children to war. Dan Goldman broke it down yesterday. Seems that he has committed crimes with Jeffrey Epstein.
To discuss this administration's massive cover-up of the Epstein files in order to conceal President Trump's involvement. This cover-up reached its apex last month when Attorney General Pam Bondi falsely testified under oath before the House Judiciary Committee. The Attorney General testified, quote, "There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that," unquote. This is a lie. In the 3 million or so documents that the DOJ has disclosed to Congress under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, there is credible evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime.
You hear that? You hear that? This is coming from Dan Goldman, all right? This is no longer a game. There is evidence that Donald Trump committed crimes with Jeffrey Epstein.
Transparency Act, there is credible evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime. And that, of course, excludes the nearly 3 million pages that the DOJ is refusing to turn over. Donald Trump is mentioned thousands of times in the Epstein files. There are multiple allegations that he sexually assaulted young girls.
Uh-oh. Hey, has anyone seen Ray? I don't see Ray. Ray, are you okay? Is Ray muted? Ladies and gentlemen, please. Ray, send me a guest request. I want to play this for you, and we're going to try this again. Explain to me. Oh, there you are. There she is. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Ray, listen to this part right here. Tell me what you think.
That he sexually assaulted young girls. But I want to focus on one victim's allegations that the FBI unquestionably found to be credible. The DOJ tried to hide reports of 3 of the 4 interviews that this victim gave to the FBI, but pressure from the media and Congress forced them to disclose them. And now we know why. She credibly accuses Donald Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was between 13 and 15.
Ray, you said you watched this. You did, Ray? So how old was she when Donald Trump did this, Ray? Since you claim you watched it. And it's one thing for you to watch it with yourself, with your truth blockers on and the demon in you. But over here, where the demon is on the ropes, no, it's a different experience. So Ray, tell us all how old she was. I promise you Ray won't do it. No, how old was she? You said you watched it. How old was she? Tell us, Ray, because you seem to keep making excuses, all right, for this kind of conduct coming from Donald Trump. So you don't have an answer. Let me go back and give you the answer. So you got to this is how you make MAGA learn, ladies and gentlemen.
When she was between 13 and 15.
Is that acceptable, Ray? Ray, is it acceptable for Donald Trump to have done this to a child? No. See, look at Ray. Where is she now? You see what I'm saying? Ray, disgusting.
In each of her interviews, this victim recited the same account of her interaction with Donald Trump. On August 7th, 2019, she explained that she was between
August 7th, 2019. Who was the president of the United States at that time, Ray? Who was the president when she told the FBI this, Ray? You can't even say, oh, this is before Trump, under Obama and Bush. This is while Trump was the sitting president of the United States. She was telling this to his FBI. You know how much courage it takes for somebody to do this? This is dangerous what she did. And she was brave enough to do it though. And you're going to sit up here and act like this is all a joke?
13 and 15 when she was left alone with Donald Trump, who, quote, mentioned something to the effect of, "Let me teach you how little girls are supposed to be."
He didn't say how women should be. He stated little girls. True predator. And you know, and for you, Ray, think about it. While this story is being played, remember, this is your daddy. This is how your daddy talks. Remember.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
Trump unzipped his pants and put her head down, quote, down to his penis, bit the S out of it. Trump struck the victim and said words to the effect of, "Get this little B the hell out of here." The victim advised that she bit Trump's penis because he disgusted her. She provided some additional details in the next interview 2 weeks later.
I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
You hear that, Ray? Please don't mute Ray, ladies and gentlemen. If you do, just give her a quick 30-second. And Vegas girl, you defending this? This is, you know, in this country, you got to have it in writing. That's how America works. You want to take land from people, you better put it in writing. You want to go to war, you better put it in writing. What we have right here is statements in writing, which is as highest of a level you can get, because, you know, you got to do this stuff under oath. You got to be, you know, validated, verified when you start putting stuff like this in writing against the sitting president of the United States. It is in writing that Donald Trump did these things. And it's not just an email between two friends. It is in writing at the highest courts in the land, the highest DOJ. The DOJ is the highest level of law and order, and it is in writing there. All right. So this is no laughing matter. This is no joke.
And then a month later, she met again with the FBI and asked, quote, what the point would be of providing the information at this point in her life when there was a strong possibility nothing could be done about it.
You hear that? So she even is aware enough, Ray, to go at it the way you're going at it. These people aren't going to believe me. Why am I doing this? Think about where this woman was at mentally, emotionally, going up against the president of the United States, having to relive the trauma. And you're going to sit around here and attack her even more instead of thinking to yourself, I need to stand up for this person because I don't want nobody to do this to me. If they, I don't want this to happen to anybody I love. This is the right thing to do. This is not about whether you agree with policy or not. This is about right and wrong.
She didn't speak to the FBI again, but the FBI certainly found her story credible. In a 21-page PowerPoint presentation that the FBI made to prosecutors, they included this victim's testimony.
So they put a PowerPoint presentation together. That means it left the intake form, the 302 form, and it was so serious, all right? And this is while Trump was president. It was so serious, they had to move it from the intake form and then the notes to a PowerPoint presentation. They're not doing this unless it's serious. Remember, this is happening at the highest levels of the United States government. How can you sit back and say, and this is in Trump's DOJ. You can't say it's the Democrats. This is his own DOJ, the same DOJ that somehow managed to allow Jeffrey Epstein to disappear from the face of the earth.
Would not have done so if they did not find the evidence credible, which means that Attorney General Bondi lied when she stated under oath that there is no evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime. But we're just scratching the surface, because the Epstein files also reveal that Donald Trump has made false statements over the past quarter century about Jeffrey Epstein.
Uh-oh. Hey, Ray, please do not bring up President Joe Biden right now. I need you to address what is actually in black and white. Now, this is another part of this story. All right, so we didn't already got the incident where one of the incidents where he's done what he's done to the little girl. But now we got to talk about Jeffrey Epstein's airplane that Donald Trump claims he never rode on.
We know in 2002, he called him a terrific guy and said, quote, "It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." In a birthday card, 2003, that Donald Trump gave to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday,
Hey, Ray, what does that look like to you? This is what Donald Trump gave Jeffrey Epstein on his 50th birthday. What does that look like to you, Ray? See, this is what it takes. And she's having what do they call it? A bit of an exorcism. We're conducting an exorcism on Ray in this chat, and not just her, Ladybug. What does this look like? I'm going to tell you. This is a young person's, an outline of a young girl's body that Donald Trump drew. And he gave it to Jeffrey Epstein. Inappropriate. This is more evidence. This is paraphernalia.
Wrote for himself that we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Enigmas never aged. Have you noticed that?
He said, he literally opened it up with, we have certain things in common, confessing the crimes. Because what does Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein have in common? Oh, maybe it's Melania, now that I think about it. W. Zeus. All right, W. Zeus. That maybe I caught myself, because you know how they met. W. Zeus. But what else could he have in common with the most disgusting human being on the face of the earth?
A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful secret. But in that same year, Palm Beach County opened an investigation into Epstein that eventually was turned over to the FBI. The investigation became public in 2006, and the Palm Beach County police chief received a call quickly after from Donald Trump, where Trump told him, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this." What innocent person calls the police chief about an investigation upon just learning about it?
Boom. So that debunks the narrative where they say, oh, well, Donald Trump reported Epstein. That's what he was doing. Well, that's a very good question. And, you know, a lot of us, we've dealt with it. We've had interactions with law enforcement. We know people in the area. But you got to ask yourself, what kind of person just randomly calls up the cops when the cops open up an investigation and start spilling the beans? What kind of person does that? That's not normal. All right. Because if it has nothing to do with you, why would you open yourself up? All right. Why would you subject yourself to being exposed like that legally? It makes absolutely no sense unless you yourself know that you are also implicated in what's happening and you are trying to cover up your you know what. Because how many of you have called the courts about a random case happening in America and started telling them what you know? You don't do that. You only do that when you're guilty.
The recent documents also show that Jeffrey Epstein emailed Ghislaine Maxwell and said, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump."
Another example. Guilty. The dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Jeffrey, I'm going to play the game raw with you, champ. And this is just me seeing it for the way it is. Donald Trump had barked because we just saw that he called the cops. So he was snitching on you. Jeff probably didn't know it at the time this email was written. He thought Donald Trump was keeping his lips sealed. But look at where we're at now. Look at where we're at now. Donald Trump did bark.
Acted victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned.
Yeah,
Trump also
he ratted on you. That's why he's not being mentioned yet. He's trying to throw you under the bus because the feds is looking. All right, so he's going to get there first to try to make it look like he's the hero, Jeff. You're too late. But that's really how this is playing out. They already had the property dispute.
That he ever went on Epstein's plane. But of course, the Southern District of New York said that he was on his plane 8 times, often with young women.
Boom. You hear that? So this is no longer a witness, Ray, saying that he was on the airplane. This is the DOJ confirming that Donald Trump was on the Epstein airplane 8 times with underage. You know, I don't like it when they say women. These are underage girls. You can't have it both ways, Ray. Now what? You got the proof?
The reason why this matters is because we don't have half of the Epstein files. And if the Attorney General is covering this up in such a degree that she is redacting things from Congress, that she then, redacting things from the public that she then shows to Congress, what else is she covering up? And I would just show that this document here was redacted to the public. It was unredacted to Congress.
Wow.
And it completely disputes everything that Donald Trump has said about Jeffrey Epstein, about what he knew about the allegations, about his disgusting behavior, about whether he'd ever been to Epstein's house, saying, I may have been there with my wife.
So he's never been to Epstein's house, but now the part that was redacted confirms he was there with his wife, Melania. This is the part where I just say, MAGA,
Asked if any young girls were there. No. He may have had children of guests, but that's it.
No, you can't have that. You have children of the guests. But so in other words, there were young girls there. Because children are young girls. And no one asked you about all of that other stuff. So he's confirming there were young girls there. And he's confirmed that Donald Trump was at Epstein's house. And we've also got proof that Donald Trump was on Epstein's airplane. And the list just goes on and on. And so with that, ladies and gentlemen, I must do this. Ladies and gentlemen, I know there's some folks out there that's very uncomfortable trigger warning material. And it is. It's very uncomfortable. I hate it. It really disturbs me having to actually go through it piece by piece because we're dealing with a group of people in this country who don't know how to think. They don't care about themselves. They hate themselves and they hate their country. But enough is enough. Every single Trump supporter right now, and they know who they are, that has not condemned Donald Trump and his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Just at that level, you got to condemn the relationship. Donald Trump won't even do it. And you're going to sit here and portray yourselves as a caring person. You're not a caring person. You're an evil person. You're a wicked person. The truth is not in you. All right? Somewhere along the way, because you were born with an opportunity. You were born with light in you, you know. But somewhere along the way, somebody stole the light from you. And you've allowed yourselves to become vessels of transgression for one person, Donald Trump. Think about that. You don't even love yourself no more. If you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. That's why your relationships are all going down the drain. That's why you're struggling. You know, you can't figure out why you're always angry and upset, snapping at people. It's because you don't love yourself. You've given your soul to Donald Trump, and God told you don't do that. And so the only thing I have for you is judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in warming up the lake of fire. It's really sick and it's sad that you'll go on the internet advocating for Donald Trump, and you won't even save your own soul. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending these demons where they belong, straight to hell.
Silence, you macadamia.
And that's a huge W. That's a huge W, Zeus. And just to add a little bit more, Ray, I would encourage you to go look up this article right now. It's on Al Jazeera, all right, and it's been limited reporting, but it's titled "Photos Show Grave-Like Plots at Epstein's Zorro Ranch." Tipster claims. You could go look at it. Look at it. They show this. They said the bodies have already been dug up. You think this is a joke? You must not understand things in life. You don't understand how. You think this is a joke? You think that the entire world is worked up over just one joke? This is serious stuff. Thousands of survivors, thousands of victims. All right. And we want them to get justice. W. Zeus. Make sure you go read this, Ray, and you get back to Big Zeus. All right? Because unfortunately, unlike you, we don't allow Donald Trump to say this about us.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
And we don't allow him to say that about us and then turn around and go and vote for him. You know that? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's open up the boxes. I got to get out of here real quickly, but we'll try to get a couple of discussions in before I do. You know what the rule is. Hit me with a guest request, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll speak on it. Let's go. Good morning. Look at that. We got Nutty. Nutty's up here first. Good morning, Nutty. How are you?
Going well. How are you? So I just want to walk through this exercise really quick because I know you only give us a couple minutes here. So here's the exercise. So it is no secret. I dislike heavily Vegas girl. I dislike her. Right?
Yeah.
I don't like Ray.
Oh.
I don't like MAGA Queen.
Oh.
I don't like any of those. But let's do this. Let's do this this experiment. If one of those ladies, whom I admittedly will tell you, I dislike them with every fiber in my being. If those ladies would come out and say, hey, this person did this to me when I was this years old, as much, and they were providing credible testimony, right?
Right.
Whether I like them or not, I would always go to bat for them. Here's why. Yes, I will concede the fact that there are people out there that make false allegations. I will concede that fact every day of the week.
Yeah.
However, but I would rather err on the side of caution than to be standing on the wrong side of history to say that Nutty did not back a victim. I want to hear
That's
more
powerful.
evidence.
That's
why
diabolical.
I would stand for you. This is why I would stand for your rights, Vegas girl. I would say this: we need to hear her out, even if that allegation was towards me. As much as I know it would be a lie, we need to hear her out. Bring forth the evidence. Put her under oath. Give her whatever testimony she needs to give. Hear her out. Investigate it. This is why we have investigations. This is the purpose. It's to figure out truth. To figure out is this testimony, is anything in this story credible? You all refuse to listen to the victims because of who it's against. You refuse to listen. And what makes it more diabolical and nasty is that these are women.
Yeah.
These are women.
That's why my blood was boiling.
Knows what it's like, if anybody knows what it's like to be catcalled, to be disrespected because of a sex, to be this, that, and the other, it's women. And for these women to be so nasty that they cannot have empathy for another woman, that says everything I need to know about them. Everything that I need to know about them. Because at the end of the day, Zeus,
talk to him.
At the end of the day,
yeah,
victims need to be heard. There doesn't need to be a statute of limitations. Listen, I used to be one. Zeus, I got to give you credit. I got to give credit. We joke around a lot, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that I'm going to give you credit for. I constantly hear you saying, over the years that we've been in each other's spaces, I constantly hear you saying, I used to be this way. And that was me, Zeus.
Yeah.
I used to be like, well, why did they wait so long? I don't believe them. Because if it really happened, they should have told. So it's easy for me, a man.
Yeah.
It's easy for me to say they should have done A, B, C, or D.
Yeah.
Because I will never know what that trauma is like. That's caused by whom? That's perpetuated by whom? Us men.
Us guys.
That's the common denominator.
Yeah, there's a part in your life as men, real men, you have to evolve from the primitive way that you used to, do things, right? Because as far as you're learning, you're growing up, this is how I get these results being this way. But there does get to a point, you get to a point to what Nutty is saying where you realize, maybe when you were this small, that's how you move. But, as you get bigger and older, you start realizing that the battlefield is a lot bigger than that, and you better learn how to adapt, right? Is that what you're trying to get at, Nutty?
It is. I've already started my descent, so let me go ahead and land this plane. Maybe it's because I'm a parent to 4 girls. Maybe that's
another humbling. That's another reality check. See how life humbles you? See how life humbles you? You never know how it's going to happen, but at least you're reading the tea leaves.
All of my girls are grown and out of the house except my 8-year-old. But if any one of my daughters came to me and said, Dad, this happened when I don't care how old they were. If they came to me and said, this happened, guess who is going to go on a rampage? I am. Because my first instinct is to believe my daughters. Now, if I find out later that it was a lie, then I will bear that cross later.
Yeah.
I will bear that cross later.
Yeah.
But I will go on a rampage, and if that person hasn't already met his maker, I'm sending that person to meet his maker.
Wow.
Because I don't care how old my daughters are. I will protect my daughters to the last breath in my body.
Amen.
Period.
Thank you.
And it's disgusting to me that I saw Vegas girl say, how old is she now? It doesn't matter, Vegas. It doesn't matter how old they are now. They are telling their truth, what happened to them when they were a certain age. And the fact that they came out against the most powerful man at the time, one of the most, Vegas, you did say, how old is she now? I read your comment, dude. It's telling. They're not just going to put themselves on a sword for no reason. What's the reason?
Yeah. What's the reason?
I've landed that plane. Thank you for the time.
You're
Zeus.
welcome.
And one more thing. In the last 3 weeks, we've seen gas prices jump $1 a gallon. $1 a gallon. DJ, Dame, or Uncle Ruckus, where are you? Because I remember when y'all said certain things. I remember when Joe Biden was sitting in that Oval Office.
Yeah.
And y'all talked about gas prices. Y'all talked about how he was responsible for the gas prices when he released gas from oil from the reserves here in the United States to drop the prices of gas.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't give him credit for that. Where are you now?
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
W Nutty. Hooked and booked. Thank you. Yeah, no lies detected. Someone said that they want me to bring Ray up here. I don't think I can handle Ray. I don't think I can handle Ray. Because what I don't want to deal with is just lies. All right, W. Somebody throw. You see, Ray, you've torn your draws with all of us. Oh yeah. Somebody said, please, Zeus, don't do it. Please, Zeus. You don't want to hear the lies. Y'all be really protecting y'all peace out there. Good morning, Takesha. Welcome. Hi, Takesha.
I'm going to say this right quick, Zeus, and then I'm going to go, and it's probably going to shock you when I say it. I wouldn't care if I was walking by the alley where the act was happening to Vegas or Ray. I'm still not going to believe that it happened. Because the word says that you do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So they don't believe them. So evidently they not going to want us to believe them when they say
Ain't that a lot of hate, though? Remember, we supposed to be big.
Let me explain something to you.
We don't need to
It's not hate. If that's what they doing to those women, trying to act like they haven't done it, like Donald Trump hadn't done anything, then that's how I'm going to treat them, because evidently they're treating those women how they want us to treat them.
Wow.
Because it said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
What? Takesha, but
I'm going to call them a liar.
Oh.
I'm going to say they waited too long, and I ain't going to care.
Oh, Takesha, that's strong coming from you, because you are...
I'm sick of them, Zeus.
That's strong.
I'm very,
Kabir,
very
you hear
sick of these. I am tired of women trying to go against other women when it's against somebody that they like.
Wow.
Don't mess around and be an example of something you trying to make exempt.
She said, but you're seeing it happening. That's what Ray just said to you. But you're seeing...
And I'm still going to say it didn't. They hearing the evidence and they still saying them women lying. So what's the difference? What's the difference? Wow. I was through with Ray when Ray said that she loved herself, her husband, and she put God last. I was done with Ray right then. Because, see, he come first.
Amen. All right. I got to give you that, Takesha. I'm just, honestly, I'm shocked because remember we had James Carville up here and he said, I hate Donald Trump. And you got up here, you were like, Zeus.
I don't hate them, Zeus. I hate their actions. I hate what they're doing to women by saying they're lying. I hate the fact that this man got a stronghold on them that they can't break, and now they around her being somebody they don't even recognize themselves. They probably looking in the mirror every day saying, who am I? Where am I? How am I? Whatever. I'm sick of them, Zeus.
Yeah.
They could turn a believer in Christ in a way they don't even want to be, Zeus. These women have turned me to somebody I don't even
Remember,
want
I was
to
telling
be.
you the other day, my blood pressure was getting up there through the roof. I'm sitting here saying, I'm trying to, you're arguing with people and you're going, I'm trying to help you.
Zeus, I always try to see the good in everybody, but Zeus, there is no good in those women. None.
No, you Takesha. It's sad. It's really sad.
Listen, it's sadder than a child having a birthday party and nobody shows up. That's just how sad it is, Zeus.
Yeah.
I'm not finna fool with them, and I told them last night on Ange Live, and then I got to go.
Okay.
I said, I'm not standing Stone Cold Weave Austin up there in that office, don't know what he doing. I'm not finna play with him and his administration, who done gave away our oil. We ain't finna make no money. Tell me something, it's an exchange. They gonna give it back once they build it back up. You ain't making no money like that.
Nope.
Mr. Global explained, he said gas prices still finna be going up.
Yeah, because
you have a great day.
All right, W Takesha. You see how Takesha got up here and just told the truth, shamed the devil. It's really not that difficult, and it's sad, honestly, to see good people say, because Takesha is really good about reminding us, right, Kabira? We struggle with it, right? But she's really good. But look at what's going on right now in this country. MAGA has done, especially these conservative so-called women, you've done such a terrible job making you're making it hard for us to actually be nice. Good morning, Brother Val. Nice to see you.
What's up?
What's going on, bro?
Listening to causation correlation fallacies down in the comments. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm trying to keep track of the comments a little bit, and I'm like, what's going on out there? Why do they continue to defend this?
And it really, I mean, let's get down to the heart of the matter. The only people who are defending this are people like Vegas Girl. You know what I'm saying? People like DJ, people like, Quad T. These are the only kind of people that are really defending this.
Yeah.
Because there's truly no defense. And for all of y'all, I mean, you're going to wake up one day and realize that you were on the wrong side.
Speak to it.
People like you are the reason.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? We're living through this right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was no need for this. There was no, I mean, you know, that anybody who watched the hearings yesterday knows there was no reason for this, you know, and they can't justify it.
Maybe they were just, you know, we had to go to war to cover up the Epstein files. You know that, Val.
Well, I mean, you know, that's definitely to me one of the reasons he did this is another distraction.
Yeah.
And this is a big distraction. Let's be, you know what I'm saying? Let's be honest about it. This is a very large distraction because it is costing us, you know, and, you know, I hate to say this, but there's a reality to the world. People obviously quit thinking about young children that are being abused when it's costing them a fortune to put gas in their car.
Think about
when
that.
It's costing them a fortune to put groceries in their house.
You said groceries?
Mm-hmm.
So grocery prices are going up.
Oh yeah, it's all going to go up. You know, gas prices, the one thing that y'all are right about, but we've never said you're wrong, is gas. You know what I'm saying? Is gas prices and oil prices do affect every product. Okay, but we've never said you're wrong about it.
Mm.
Now, what you're wrong about is drill baby drill's not going to fix that problem.
Yeah. Tell them.
You know, these are the things that you don't, you know what I'm saying, that you don't research or understand. That's not going to fix this problem. And drill baby drill was nothing but a saying anyway.
Yeah.
We're 120 rigs down.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, you know, so that didn't work.
This is sad.
Because just like I said back when this was being said in 2024, oil companies are not going to drill when the price per barrel is, you know, like it was back then. They're not going to drill.
Wow.
And they didn't.
You did. Yeah. W, Val. Look at that. And yet they get mad at you because you're getting on. You volunteer your time. I don't know how you do it, but you get up here and you just very plainly lay it out for these folks. The demons. This is what your dear leader is going to do, and they get mad at you though. Why is that?
Well, they can get mad at me all they want. Reality, it doesn't change reality. You know what I'm saying? Get mad at me.
Yeah.
I don't care if you get mad at me, but let me tell you what else you need to be mad at. You need to be mad at this administration.
Bingo.
Okay? You need to be mad at this administration, unlike the Biden administration.
You brought Biden up. Wow.
Okay? Unlike the Biden administration, this administration is directly responsible for what we are facing today. When you talk about, hold on. And you want me to make that even better for you? This administration, or excuse me, this president was responsible for what Biden faced. Y'all just don't want to hear it.
Could you say that to me like I'm a Trump supporter, Val? Because, you know,
in
I see them struggling.
In 2020, the Trump administration made a deal with OPEC to cut production by 10 million barrels a day.
Isn't that a good thing?
At the time, it was a good thing, but not for 2 years. Okay,
that's the tricky part.
That's the tricky part. If they would have done this for 6 months or something like that, that would have been okay, and it would have actually made sense. He signed a deal for 2 years to cut production from OPEC by 10 million barrels a day.
Wow.
Now you can go look at the gas prices from the date that deal was signed until the day it ended. You can watch gas prices go up every month.
So he screwed Biden.
And then the day that it ended, the day that deal ended, you can watch gas prices start to fall. Bad deals by administrations. Bad deals by administrations have real effects on the American people.
Wow.
Okay. And when you have a president decides to go out and just attack a country because he doesn't like them, because really that's what we're talking about right now. He doesn't like them. Don't get me wrong. I don't like Iran either. But I don't dislike Iran enough to put my children in harm's way.
Facts.
To put the American people in financial distress.
You hear this? This is the problem. Was it worth us being put in financial distress and basically sending our men and women our men and women off to war to come back in body bags. And I hate to say it that way, but
and it's already happened.
Yeah, and one of them, remember, if our soldiers start dying over there, then I'll stop supporting him. Well, we already got evidence that they're dying over there. Why are you still supporting him?
Right.
It's sick.
I mean, this is the same group of people that said no new wars. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know in plain English what that's supposed to mean, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would think everybody took that pretty much the same way, that we're not going to start any new wars.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, let's talk about the reality of the past few weeks. Iran, or the past few months.
Yeah.
Venezuela, Iran. Okay.
Yeah.
And now talking about going after Cuba.
It's sick, Val. It's really sick. They have no foundation. They have no moral high ground at this point, especially if they try to get up here and talk to us. It's really disgusting that we're in this situation. Do they have health care now? Does MAGA have health care? Because remember, he had concepts of it.
Right. Oh no health care. But keep in mind, we also had Tulsi Gabbard on the House floor say these words: "It is not the job of the intelligence community to assess threat from another country."
Ain't that something? Then what?
Let me tell you how inept that statement is. The whole reason the intelligence community exists, that we have it, is to do exactly that, to assess what danger another country or entity poses to us. And she sat up there and said, that's not their job. That's their entire job.
Wow. These folks are sick, Val. Val, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, brother, I gotta say, I appreciate you as always, all right?
All right, buddy.
All right, we're gonna get up out of here. W's in the chat for Brother Val. No lies detected. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, it's going to be an abbreviated week. Tomorrow, I'll do the full show. I want to give a special thank you to all of you out there who've tuned in this morning. Thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Because without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. Entertaining, engaging, and very, very educational. All right. And, we did a lot of real, this was heavy lifting today because the Epstein stuff is very, very difficult to go through. And I know that Donald Trump is using the war to distract us. And I'm trying to keep track of not just the war, but the gas prices, right? All of the other things that are happening with the groceries and, these updates with the Epstein file. It's a lot to keep up with, but I'll do my best. All right. You have my word. We're not going to allow, one thing we're not going to do is we're never going to surrender this great country of ours over to Donald Trump. If you're going to have a dictator, if we need a dictator in the United States, you know who would make a better dictator? Honestly, Big Zeus. If you're going to have a dictator, you got to have a dictator that got the Rizzler, right? Because we'd get it popping. We would get it popping if you're going to do it. But I don't even want that. What we're not going to do is allow the United States to be ran by the most evil and corrupt, sickest individual on the face of the earth. That's a no-no to the no-no. All right, but honestly, I got to give my last round of booze and shame, and you know who this goes out to. We cooked them this morning in the chat, and they know who they are, but they should remain nameless for right now. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in sending those demons straight to hell. I love it. I couldn't ask for anything else. All right, that's a huge W, Zeus. All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care. Stay safe. I'll see you all tomorrow. Same Zeus time, same Zeus channel. You know what song it is?
What about Biden?
Sing it.
Yeah.
You know how many times I saw Biden's name in the chat today? I was just glancing. We got him. MAGA is mad they don't own this song. It's impressive that I had to put it together. Sing it, MAGA. you haven't seen the economy yet with Donald Trump, right? 13? Right here.
13 soldiers gone. Joe acting blind.
13 soldiers gone. Joe acting blind.
What about Biden?
W. Marissa.
Yeah. What about Biden?
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Seriously. W. Art. Sing the song to MAGA. Sing it, MAGA.
In the White House, call him Sleepy Joe. Cognitive decline. Everybody know. Stumbling words, can't finish a sentence. Puppet on strings, who pulling the leverage? Hunters laptop, bullets for deals. Trying to cash flow, million conceal. Family getting paid, influence better while we out here struggling.
Sing it, ladies and gentlemen.
Weaponized OJ, FBI raids. Mar-a-Lago storm, 100 gets praised. January 6th, locking up brands. But Joe's pacified docs in his garage, man. Keystone cancel, energy weak. Depending on polls, gas up a week. Crime in the cities, soft on the streets. Defund the police, chaos for beat.
Hey.
Whole election
night. Biden did this.
Read the votes till tonight. Yeah, that ain't right. What about Biden? Borders wide open, let them flood it. Millions crossing, drugs pouring. Where we begin? What about Biden? Gas prices dying.
Remember those gas prices under Biden? Economy dying.
Can't feed your child. What about Biden?
I just can't do it. WVIP. 13 soldiers gone.
Joe acting blind. Yeah, what about Biden?
1600 Pennsylvania, yes. Thank you. All right, this is the question. This is the question, MAGA, right here. Sing it. Oh, that was dope, man. How you come up with that? What about him? Yeah, WAB. WAB. Y'all keep it clean out there. What about Biden? What about him, Zena? Alter ego, what about Joe Biden? You got to ask yourself, that's the question of the year. What about Biden? All right, I'm out of here, ladies and gentlemen.